What up? What up? Welcome into another episode of Profit Picks. If you are new, we always start this show by being transparent. And yesterday, I had a pretty good day, a really good day. Actually, my best bet won, which was let me just pull it up here so I can read it off. I had the Pistons as my best bet, plus 13 and a half, 4% play winner. And then Hornets, Hawks, Wizards, Pelicans first half, all winners. Spurs couldn't get the job done because guys want to drive to the basket and miss every single free throw at the end. And then Kaminga didn't get over his points because it was a blowout. So still a nice 5-2 day. I will take it every single time. Veno, it's been a little while since we've had you on here. How's everything been for you? And how are you doing today?
Today we're good, Skee. Today we're good. Yesterday was good as well. 4-2 for myself. It was mostly a college basketball night for me, though. Since you ran all yours down, I'm going to try here to just let the chat know where I was yesterday. I know
before you go down the list, Rob, what color is that?
This is you would call this teal, Jaguars teal. Anybody that mentions the Jaguars or teal wins.
Okay, thank you.
I think we listed that in our list too, so it's there. In the NBA, the winner last night was the Warrior team total over 119.5. They got themselves to 127. That worked out well. College hoops, we had a few here. Belmont minus 2.5 with their star point guard back on the floor gets the win by 5. We had the Alabama-Auburn game, Auburn first half minus 3. That got their St. Louis-LaSalle Atlantic 10 game, first half over 70.5. They really rolled point-wise in that game. A couple of losers in college yesterday to round out the 4-2 were overplayed. The Appalachian State-Texas State game did not get to 134. And the Villanova-Xavier total, surprisingly low-scoring game there for Xavier. I think it was like 57-54, but 4-2 was plus profit. We'll take it for the day and move on to today.
Absolutely. 4-2. That's what, 66%? You do that every single day. You can go buy an island, Rob,
Let's do that, Skee. Let's go. Island sounds nice.
Yeah, I could definitely go for an island. We don't have a winner yet. A lot of guesses, but no winner yet. And the trade deadline, Rob, I do want to bring that up.
Yeah.
Some good stuff happening now. It took a while for them to get going, but something that stood out to me, I like Buddy Hield going over there to the Sixers. I like O'Neal to the Suns. And then there was one more that I like that I'm kind of blanking out a little bit on here. But any of the trades stood out to you so far, or any you like or didn't like?
Well, I think whether I like them or not, I think that somebody that helped themselves was probably Dallas when they got Daniel Gafford.
There you go.
Paired with Derek Lively.
And
they
PJ
need
Washington.
that. Yeah, they need that rim protection, Skee. And, Gafford, I think if I read it right, he's the highest field goal percentage shooter in the NBA, which shows he knows exactly where to shoot from and how to make shots. So the pairing of him and Lively, I think, really helps Dallas. PJ Washington also. I thought that one helped. Obviously, a couple were salary dumps. I don't know other than veteran presence, but Gordon Hayward probably does help the young Oklahoma City Thunder a little bit coming off the bench here with the ability to score and at least give some leadership to that team. I don't know exactly what the Nets – I guess the Nets are just in a dump here. It's interesting with Toronto, Skee. That trade was kind of strange, right? Send Dennis Schroeder
I don't know what
to the
they're
Nets.
doing.
Sent Dinwiddie over there. Kind of didn't make – could have been a money thing. But, yeah, I thought the one that stuck out to me really was the Daniel Gafford getting over to Dallas to help them where they need the most help of all.
Yeah, the Mavs trade was the other one I'm blanking out on. But some good moves being made now. We have a little bit more than an hour, like an hour and 15 minutes until the deadline is over. Pat Bev to the Bucks is another good one. They needed some help perimeter defense. So I think that's a good move by them. A lot of good moves being made around the league. And before I forget, and I did forget already, so let me mention it before I keep going down the comments. But I always give you guys credit. I always say how good the chat is. The chat was absolutely on fire yesterday. 28-12. And this is including too. After the show, people come in and put their comments for their best bet. I'm looking at those and I'm including those too. And guys are killing it. So let's shout some of the winners out. We had Del Toledo with Detroit first half and Pelicans first half. Siete Catorce had the Hawks plus 12. Tim H had the Warriors -5. Sean Evans had the Wizards as a big dog. James Carr, he did just comment, and that will reminded me. Here he is right here. Says, broke my curse of losing every time I post. Charlotte was the winner. And some believe in God. Charlotte plus 7.5. Nice winner. Manzi Man, he's a new member over here. He had Auburn and Cal money line parlay for plus 143. That cashed. Daniel with the Pistons. Brian H had both Warriors -5 and Wizards team total under. The Wizards team total under was a popular pick yesterday. A few people had that one. Dan N at the Pels first half. That was a winner. Easy. TP Jet. He still, got by with Charlotte plus 6.5. Got it by the hook. So nice work there. Another winner on Warriors -5 from Mario C. J Profit. Not spelled like my name, but spelled like the other Prophet. Pelicans and Clippers under 231, and Hawks first quarter +4, both winners. Nice work. David M had the Hornets. Yeah, we did some work here. A lot of people took some dogs. He's got takes, had the Wizards team total under, and then he did a money line parlay that also cashed with the Warriors and Celtics first half. Bob Warren, another person on the Pistons. Nice work. Justin M, he continues to kill college. University, North Carolina, Asheville. And I feel like that's his team. I feel like I keep seeing him bet this team. I could be wrong, but I just feel like I keep seeing it. And +2, they went out right. Trevor Tills had RJ Barrett to get 20 plus. He definitely did that. Mickey Sampson went with the Pistons first half. I was kind of, when it was halftime, I was like, damn, why didn't I take the first half? But they ended up winning the game anyway. So nice work from you. Ron Mel Jr. had both Hawks plus 12.5 and Pelicans plus 6.5. Bang, bang. And last but not least, we'll go Darryl Benton. He gave us a hockey winner. Maple Leafs to score in the first period. So great work by everybody. All of us versus the books. And I always say how many great cappers there are here in the chat. So pay attention when you see people in here giving their handicap, and especially when it gets to the best bet segment. Veno,
and don't cause any trouble in there.
Oh yeah, they got him good. Trust me, he lost one day and they got him good. They weren't letting him run away from that. But Siete, I'm still looking for the winner here, Rob. I think we started at 1040, so we're getting close to that. If we don't have a winner, we might just have to parlay it into tomorrow or next week. So giving a couple more comments. Navy, a lot of people saying different color blues, but we need that teal. We need teal.
That's an official color.
So and look, they're saying definitely a gray. So nobody got it. Nobody got it before the show starts. So what we'll do? Are you gonna be here tomorrow, Rob?
I can be in early and then check out.
Okay. Gotcha.
That's what happens when I'm not on a show before yours, Skee. Nobody gets it right.
Exactly. No cheaters this time, huh? No cheaters this time. So I usually buy lunch for the winner. And since there's no winner today, you know what? This is an idea I just got here, Rob. What do you think about this? Does this seem fair? Since we're going to double it up for tomorrow, since nobody won today, I think it's right that one of the members should win. So it's going to be a double prize.
Okay.
I think it should go to a member. What do you think about that? Does that sound fair?
Yeah, so hurry up and become a member today so you can get in on this.
I gave away 10 free memberships beginning of this week. I can give away 10 per month, and we do have a lot of members. So tomorrow, members, make sure y'all get in here, get your guesses in, and I'll put the list one more time of the different shirts that Rob has. So we'll make sure we have a winner.
Good deal.
Now let's get to making some money today here, Rob.
Yes.
We have 9 games in the association. We'll do our best to get through every single one. We should get through every single one. And we'll talk about football tomorrow since you'll be back. First game up, 5-15, 5-16, Warriors and Pacers. This game opened up Pacers -6. They're now 5.5 point favorites. Total opened up 251 and is down to 249.5. As far as the injury report, and I'm gonna have to refresh this consistently throughout the show. Probably every single game I'll have to refresh. Draymond, game time, but probable. Same can be said for Wiggins. Chris Paul is out. Gary Payton II is out. For the Pacers, they're going to be, well, they traded away Buddy Hield, so he's no longer on the roster. And looks like the guys that they got in the trade obviously are not going to play. Jalen Smith, Ben Mathurin, and Hallie, all game time decision for tonight. This is the Warriors on the front end of a back-to-back. And Pacers with 1 day rest. So I'll say like this here, Rob. The hardest spot in the NBA is road back to backs, but I'm not quite sure that this one's going to be as hard as all the others because the Warriors were winning that game by margin. They dumped the bench, for majority of the fourth quarter, and I still think there's some gas in the tank. That's what I'm trying to say here for this Warriors team. This is also a Warriors team who doesn't have a winning record yet, so I don't think they can afford to take games off. They've been playing well lately. They've covered 4 of their last 5 games. They're 9-5 as a road dog this season. The Pacers, they've, it's been a little shaky since they made the trade. It's going to take some time for everything to get, for them to get used to everything. And also, Hallie's been on a minutes restriction. They've only covered 2 of their last 6 games. Now you take away another piece in Buddy Hield. I just don't see a whole lot to like for the Pacers. If that game yesterday was a little more taxing for Golden State, I don't think I would like them as much. But the Pacers, bottom 10 defensive rated team last 5 games, not playing good basketball right now. How can you expect them to win by margin when they can't get stops and they're not playing good basketball? That's how I think. So I'll go with who I view as the more hungry team, the team who I think is playing better basketball right now. Definitely playing better defense, top 5 defensive rated team last 5 games. That is the Warriors. So can you talk me off? Or actually, there's no talking me off. I already bet it. But how do you feel about the game, Rob? Warriors and Pacers.
A lot of what you said, I totally agree with, Skee. Generally speaking, we would be against this second of back-to-back, 5th and final game of a road trip. But we just saw a couple of West Coast teams conclude 7-game road trips with wins, right? It's showing me that these things are important now. And when you hit on Golden State can't be taking nights off, I think that's right. Where I stand, because I checked the standings this morning and Golden State's got work to do. They're not in a comfortable position right now where you could just let one go. So I think just viewing what they've done on this road trip, it looks to me like this team has been a lot more serious on this road trip than they have been for the majority of the seasons. So I have to give them credence there. And then the other side is, Indiana is rested, but are they going to beat this team by more than 6? And I'm not so sure that the way they're playing defense and with the injuries still up in the air this time of day, I'm not sure that they can beat this team by 6, if they can beat them at all. I think if the Warriors come, which I feel like they will, I think they come ready to play here. And as you mentioned, minutes were a little bit spread out last night because of the blowout against undermanned or shorthanded Philly. So I'm with you here. I mean, like I say, I'm going to overlook what should be a really good rest advantage situation and go ahead and play, or at least look toward Golden State. I have not played yet, so I don't want anybody to get that thought, but you have. So you're in Golden State plus the points, and I'm backing that side as well.
All right, good stuff. I love to hear that. And if you're a spot better, you're not going to like this because you're going to look at that road and say it's a fade spot. But I explain why I think it's a little bit different for this one instance. Shout out to, let me just make sure I say it correctly. Go back up here. Finn Addict, he became a member. When we get new members, I do drop some stuff for all my members. So there will be something there in the member section today. And for you guys wondering about the prize, I don't think I said it if you are new. I usually give $25 to buy somebody lunch, whoever gets his Rob shirt color correct. And since nobody won today, tomorrow it'll be $50. So Munaf, look, it gets Munaf to be a member. Munaf's been here forever, but You tell him he gets $50. Now he wants to be a member.
Yeah, there we go. See that? I never knew
Now,
these shirt colors could produce so much money. Let's go.
Now, me and Munaf give each other a hard time regardless, no matter what. So it's all love. Next game up here, Rob. We'll go 5-17, 5-18. Spurs and Magic opened up Magic minus 11. They're now 10.5-point favorites. Total opened up 224. It looks like it's as high as 225, but most shops have 224.5. Injury report, one of the rare games. Hardly ever see this in today's NBA. Nobody on the injury report for the Spurs or the Magic. It is early, though. The Spurs did play yesterday, so guys could absolutely be added. Magic with 1 day rest. Magic are also 7-3 as a home favorite versus lesser competition. They've beaten them up. They let people know that they're not in that tier anymore. They're 12-2 versus less than those 45% win teams. And I'm talking about ATS. They've covered 5 of their last 6 games. Going up against the Spurs team, who's been the opposite. They've only covered 1 of their last 5. So, Spurs, this is one where I understand why the Magic are a double-digit dog because of the spot for the Spurs and the Spurs not playing well. And like I said, Magic playing well. But I just don't know if I can get to the window with the Magic because when I think about, you're going to win by double digits, I always say this here, Rob. You got to do a couple things for me. You got to shoot the 3 well, defend the 3 well, because that's how you're going to create separation in the game. And the Magic, they're pretty good defending the 3, but they're the second worst team shooting it. So I just don't trust them to create that separation. Do you trust them here?
Well, I trusted them when they were at San Antonio in this matchup. They laid 5.5 a couple of weeks ago, and they win the game, I think, by 10, Skee. But I'm not sure that I want to lay this many points with this team. When I looked at it this morning, I immediately checked it to go back and look at this Orlando side. And when I saw the point spread, I immediately went to team total and thought, well, maybe I can get Orlando team total over because San Antonio is on the second of back-to-back. San Antonio is a different type of back-to-back team in the fact that head coach Popovich really does split up minutes. Nobody on this team ever plays a boatload of minutes. So second of back-to-back, you could usually consider them at least halfway rested because they get a lot of guys in, a lot of guys split up the time. But I thought that Orlando here, I think they scored, 105 or 115 the first, I think it was like a 105-95. Anyway, I looked at their team total and I came up with this. Their team total is 117.5. San Antonio, for what it's worth, call them a bad defensive team overall on the season. They have not allowed 118 points in 7 straight games. So that's a deterrent. You don't want to go play in Orlando over 117.5 if the other side isn't giving up 118. And then I went to the Orlando offensive end of that and found out that they have scored 117 or less in 15 of their last 16 games. So how can I expect them to get to 118? Right, 15-1 is a pretty strong number, not getting to 118. I think they have all the advantages here. It's surprising to me that they're one team yet today, and they still have time, like you say, that hasn't gone out and tried to acquire a shooter, a perimeter shooter, because that's the only thing that really holds them back. They're 27-24 and playing pretty good basketball right now. But as I always say, when I look at them, Skee, I look at them as a front court team. Do you have a front court advantage over the opponent? Yes, they do. That's why I played them the first time, and they came through for me. But I just don't know that you can, in order to cover 10.5 or 11, and I get they're a really good defensive team, but you have to kind of get to that high teens mark, 115 to 120. Not sure that they do. I know they're off a blowout loss to Miami, which was an important game to them, and they just got stung by the Heat that night. But I didn't play it either way. Like I said, I wanted to get myself to Orlando over team total. I did not get there.
Well, Minoff is trying to help us get there, trying to help us find some way to bet this. Shout out to Orit, new member there, and Michael, new members coming in. Appreciate you guys. And also this 199 dono here from, I don't want to mess it up, Manir. So appreciate you. Munoff, he said, and I put it up, I'm gonna pull it up here now because I put it in. Magic team total over 117.5. Spurs have allowed 120 plus in all 4 road games on the back-to-back. And, some people are visual like me. So let's just take a look here. And also, I gotta keep Munaf honest. Make sure he's telling the truth here. So they've given up 152, 121, 134, and 127 to the Wizards, the Blazers, the Pelicans, and the Pacers. If the Blazers can score 134, why can't the Magic score 134? That's my first thought right there. So what do you think about the team total after seeing this now, Rob?
Yeah, well, you're a last 5 guy, right? So the
Yes.
reason why I didn't play was because last 7, it seemed like. But if you go beyond those 7, you can find plenty of reason to play Orlando's team total over, because beyond those last 7, those numbers get huge. And San Antonio, if you look at their overall statistics, they are a bad defensive team. So the question becomes, Skee, do you trust current form, or do you trust what they've been all season long? I couldn't make up my mind. As badly as I want to get to Orlando's team total over, I still haven't made it yet. But maybe Munaf could push me over the finish line here for something small on the team total. I wouldn't play this game any other way. I do think Orlando's a little bit furious after, they didn't even get to 100 the other night, which, me, I'm a bounce back guy. If you don't get to 100 and you're a good team, you're going to get to 100 the next time. 118, I'm not so sure.
Okay, fair enough. And look, to your point, if I look at recent stats, both teams are bottom 5 offensive rated teams and much better on the defensive end. Spurs have gone under in 7 straight. So could be reasons to stay off there. We'll keep it moving. I think that was a pretty good discussion on that game. 519, 520, Dallas and New York. This game opened up Mavs minus 2.5. They're now 3.5 point favorite as the consensus. Total open 232.5, and it's down as low as 228. As far as the injury report, and let's refresh because we know what day it is. This one is tough. A lot of trades made, right? Trades made for both teams. So it's hard for me to even know. I mean, I'm trying to think about who's missing. I know all of these. I'll just say who's going to be who I see on the list now. Maxi Kleber, game time. It looks like Kyrie, Luka, and it says even Gafford. Gafford is very likely to play tonight. That's interesting. But PJ Washington is doubtful. This is one of those games where I don't think I'm going to be betting, Rob. It's too much moving around going on. But for the Knicks side, they did get Bogdanovich. They did get Alec Burks. And it looks like both of them, it's on RotoWire, it says they're both very likely to play. So that's surprising to me, just getting traded and just going to be out there. Brunson, true questionable. Sims, true questionable. They'll be without OG Anunoby, Randall, and Mitchell Robinson. So the one thing I'll say about this here, Rob, one thing is the Knicks did that trade. OG brought a lot of defense to this team. There was a lot of Knicks winning and going under. I feel like, and I should pull up the chart here just to put numbers to what I said. My guy I was on with yesterday, shout out to Kyle. He sent me a screenshot, and then I just correlated it to what I thought was going on. So Knicks 3-point defense is just like falling off of a cliff lately. If you look at Knicks 3-point defense, like when they first made that trade from January 1st till the 24th, they're top 3. But if you look at, from 25th till yesterday or their last game, they're bottom 6. So that's falling off a cliff. And Dallas, they're not a good defensive team in general. Like I never feel comfortable laying with the Mavericks just because I never trust them to get stops. So I would think this game can get up and over the total if I had to make a wager right now. The market disagrees. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I felt the same way, Skee. I'm very surprised. I had Dallas and the Nets over 2 nights ago, right? They didn't play last night. It was the night before, 236.5. Nets didn't score. Dallas got to 119. Dallas missed some shots. They're on back-to-back games where they haven't really played their best offense, and they've still gotten to 118 and 119. What sells me on the over here, is that Knicks Memphis game the other night. I know Memphis shot crazy, like they made 21 threes or something. To your point about the Knicks 3-point defense being bad, I think Memphis made over 20 threes against them the other night. True number as far as shooting percentage, Memphis shot 56.8% from beyond the arc against the Knicks. The Jalen Brunson injury is a concern, though, if you want to go ahead and try and play over. This is kind of a Jalen Brunson versus Dallas, Kyrie Irving in New York City type of game. So you could see both of those guys if they're in there having big nights. I wouldn't play it under Skee. It does surprise me that Daniel Gafford, was he in New York already? I have to see where Washington was. But from DC to New York City isn't really that far of a trip. Maybe he can get there and play. If those guys do play, even on the Knicks side, you have to question how effective they could be. I always say that when we make that statement, it kind of sounds like we're talking about offense. But when new guys get put in, it's usually harder to get used to playing the defensive style of the team. And there's a lot of miscommunication and stuff. So that could lead to over as well. It's the only way I could look here. Didn't bet the game, though. Dallas did beat this team without Luka. A couple of weeks back, I think the Knicks went to Dallas and lost. So Dallas certainly had their number then.
So we're kind of on the same page here. And shout out my guy. He's right there in the chat. So you guys make sure you follow Kyle. He does great work. And I'll be on with him again in the near future. We did good work yesterday. And he looks like he agrees. He says, who's even available to come off the bench for the Knicks in this game? Not a lot of bodies available. Veno and myself, we think over or stay out the way. Next game, we will go 521, 522, Cavs, Nets. This game opened up 5.5 favorites for Cleveland. They're now as high as -7. Total opened up 225 and it's down to 224.5. As far as the injury report is concerned, and I have to keep refreshing, Ty Jerome and Thompson are both out. For the Nets, they made a lot of trades. It's I feel like they made a few trades here. Schroeder, Thaddeus Young, both unlikely to play. Those are new additions. Dorian Finney-Smith, Cam Johnson, Sharp, and Lonnie Walker, all are going to be out in this matchup. So, Rob, maybe I'll kick this one to you here first. This is not another game where I don't feel too strong. Cleveland is on a back-to-back. They've been playing good basketball, and the Nets have not. Do you think that continues?
Yeah, I did play this one, Skee. I do feel strongly about this. I played Cleveland at -6, and then again at 6.5, and then I played their team total over 115.5. So I got a lot of interest in this game, and most of it has to do with the fact that once the Spencer Dinwiddie trade came down is when I made the bet. So you lose him, you lose Dennis Smith Jr., and then a few minutes later, they traded Royce O'Neal. So for the Nets tonight, from my count, they have 8 guys available unless newcomers play. They have 0 point guards on the team. They traded Dinwiddie. They traded Dennis Smith. They traded both their points. I would assume Ben Simmons plays point tonight. I don't know who else. Maybe, you could give Mikal Bridges the ball. You could give Cam Thomas the ball, but they're not point guards against Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell. So very tough there for the Nets to even expect them to be able to create offense, so to speak. They get crushed on the boards in this game, right? I mean, Jared Allen has been a monster, and you take Allen and Mobley against only Nick Claxton. So I've got interior advantage. I've got perimeter advantage. I've got quality depth advantage. Cleveland is one of those teams, again, that's 9 or 10 deep with quality guys to be able to spread out minutes. Last night happened to be Donovan Mitchell's night. Tonight could be somebody else's night where they're concerned. And then to your final point about Cleveland playing real good basketball, 15-1 straight up. But I have numbers here, Skee, that in that 15-1, in that 16-game span, they've been a favorite of 9 or less 10 times, and they're 8-2 against the number in those games. So 80% cover rate laying 9 or less during this streak. They're still laying 9 or less, even if it is up to 7 in some places. The team total was 115.5. I just don't know where the Nets defense comes from. I mean, Bridges plays some defense. Ben Simmons for what it's worth, but they just don't have enough guys here in this rotation tonight. So for me, it's heavy Cleveland. It's heavy Cleveland team total to get to 116. I think both of those, even though it's a back-to-back, they are in a situation, I think when I looked at the standings, they're number 2 seed in the East. And you just can't let it get. We talked about it with Golden State earlier, right? Golden State's a little more sense of urgency than Cleveland, but to fortify or build upon what they have as the number 2 seed already, you got to win games like this. You can't let this one slip. So I think they'll be interested. If they're interested for 3.5 quarters, everything should work here for me.
I can't argue anything you said. The chat just giving a reminder that was a mistake as far as the Dennis Smith Jr. He did not get traded.
Oh, all right.
He's
your starting point guard then.
The only thing I don't like about Cleveland is, and Kyle's mentioning it right here, we're on the same page. He says he hates that they're 2-4-1 ATS on second of a back-to-back this year, but there's no way he can touch Brooklyn. His Cavs are past. He agrees with that, and I do too. The only way to look for me in this game. Aaron Fink maybe saying Simmons points is worth looking at. We'll keep moving. You got something on that?
I'm looking at when you put that up. Simmons points were 6.5 over. That's
crazy.
Saying
they don't barely have any players available. You got to get it.
If you can't get,
that might be worth a look.
Absolutely,
that's a good point for sure. This next game, I'm pretty interested. I was really interested earlier, and I kind of had my enthusiasm tempered a little bit when I was just looking at some stuff. But I'll talk it out with you here, Mr. Veno. We're looking at the Timberwolves and the Bucks, 523, 524. Opened up Bucks -1.5. They're still a 1-point favorite. Total open 228.5. And it looks like 226.5 right now. As far as the injury report, looks like McLaughlin, game time decision. Miller, Morris, game time decision, and Clark remains out. For the Bucks, Crowder, Lopez, Lillard. Well, Crowder and Lopez are probable. Lillard is truly questionable, and Pat Bev, the new addition, is doubtful. And Middleton is out. So a lot of stuff going on for the Bucks on that side. I was interested in this game I'll tell you, I was looking at either the Minnesota side or the Timberwolves team total. Or the Bucks team total under. Ever since the Wolves played that game versus the Hornets, I keep mentioning it because they keep playing defense. In the post-game interview, everybody's talking about if they want to be a good team, they got to be focused and they got to get back to playing good defense. And they've done just that. And let me pull this up here so we can just put some numbers to what we're saying, or just look at the whole chart. And I'll tell you, we'll talk it out together. I'll tell you why maybe my enthusiasm was a little bit tempered. I was expecting this to make me feel better. But this, I believe, is the Timberwolves since that Charlotte game. They are 6-2 to the under in general. They're holding opponents to about 103.6 points per game. But I'm just looking at who they've been playing. Bulls, Rockets, Magic, Mavericks. Mavs and Thunder, I guess. Spurs, Nets, Wizards. A lot of these teams have been the less thans. And not that I'm a big fan of the Milwaukee Bucks, but they're not a less than. So will that defense still be able to hold up versus the Bucks is my question. But the only way to look at it for me was Bucks team total under or Minnesota to win the game. How you feel about it, Veno?
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same spot where you are, but a different position on where under is concerned. I looked at full game under in this one, Minnesota, Milwaukee. Didn't play it, but that's if I was going to play it, that's the way I would. I think that it was you about a month or a month and a half ago, the first time I heard this, that Minnesota's defense is different on the road than it is at home. But as you mentioned, they've been very, very good. And they've got all the capability to play defense. And I remember the game you referred to and the night they made that quote about getting back to playing defense. I think I'm starting to see the same thing out of Milwaukee. The reason why I would like under here, and Brook Lopez didn't play the other night. Dame didn't play the other night. Chris Middleton got hurt the other night. They really had nobody against Phoenix. We'll see who comes back here. I think Lopez at least definite. But when you watch the Bucks right now, it seems like since your pal Glenn got there to be the head coach, it's their primary focus right now. They didn't look real good offensively at all. And there's a lot of missing pieces, granted. But it looks like, and even in his post game, every comment he made basically was about defense. Defense. And there were spurts in that Phoenix game. Remember, they have Beal, Booker, and Durant. There were spurts in that Phoenix game where I looked at Milwaukee and I said, they can play defense. I mean, there's shortcomings, obviously, right? Lillard can't guard perimeter, so on and so forth. But as a team, as a unit, and he said they're gaining confidence defensively, whatever that means. Maybe it means they're trusting each other a little bit more than they were before. But I did see some defensive improvement there out of Milwaukee in stretches. So I think this one, the total looked a little bit too high to me from the outset. And looking right now, Skee, 228.5 down to 226.5. I might take my chances with an under here. Minnesota is going to come to play because Minnesota is one of those up and rising teams that takes these types of games as real challenges, and their front line is so tough to score against. So I'd probably look under if I had to play.
Well, that means we agree then, right? You looking towards the under, and it sounds like you might look towards Minnesota here. So I feel like, Wolves defense has been worse on the road, but they played a lot of road games and, since that Hornets game, and they've been stepping up. Granted, it hasn't been versus the best opponents, but they have been playing defense on the road. Can we trust that the Bucks defense shows up tonight, or do we just, think that they start to play in the near future? That's my question here as far as the full game under versus just the Bucks team total. I did like this comment. Boofer says, my doctor was 1-4. I go to a new doctor.
Always count on Boofer.
Yeah. So either the Wolves or the under, maybe Bucks team total under, are the ways we like. And Smokey Bet says first half for the Wolves, they keep blowing fourth quarter leads. So a lot of different ways to look in that game. We'll keep moving down the list. We'll go to 525, 526, Bulls and Grizzlies. And my bad here. Let's get back. Opened up Bulls minus 5.5. They're now a 6-point favorite. Total open 212.5, and it looks like 217. As far as, oh boy, I mean, the injury report was messed up for these Grizzlies before it was trade deadline. You guys know Grizzlies are very thin. That's all I'm gonna say about the Grizzlies. I'm not going through their entire list. The Bulls, they have Caruso and Kobe White, both game time decision. Both of them probable. Terry's probable too. Torrey Craig is a true game time, and Williams will be out. So how I feel about this one, Rob, I've been backing the Grizzlies consistently because, I just feel like they've been undervalued. Yes, they don't have the most talent, but all those guys have been playing hard. And now it's getting to a point where, the point spread is getting shorter. They're going to have to start trying to win these games if you want to make money. And I think I've made enough money with the Grizzlies. I don't want to expect them to win these games. Bulls versus the less thans, they've been just like the Magic, 11-2-2 ATS versus less than 45% win teams, 4-2-1 as a road favorite, 6-3 ATS their last 9 games. So they've been playing well too. I would go with the team who's playing well with more talent. This point spread is just a little too short for me to try to back the Grizzlies again. So either the Bulls, and in Grizzlies games, their offense has been terrible. It's been more of the defense, and neither one of these teams are playing with pace lately. So Bulls or under would be my recommendations here. How do you feel about it?
I like the Bulls team total, Skee, and I like, where you were going with the Memphis depth there for a second. I thought that Memphis, the energy and effort would wear out a lot quicker than it did, but it seems like the energy and effort from these guys is starting to wear down. Last 3 games gave up 121 to Golden State, 131 to Boston, and they gave up 123 the other night to the Knicks with 1 starter in the lineup, Jalen Brunson. I think the other 4 were out. So, they made 21 3-pointers in that game, which is rare for them. But I think the points that they're allowing right now, and then I looked at the Bulls team total tonight, it's 111.5. That's all it is. And the Bulls, slow pace or not, over 111.5 points in 11 of their last 14. Scoring pretty well. Memphis defense to me is just worn out. You trade Xavier Tillman. You traded David Roddy, two of your energy guys as far as at least front line is concerned. So I don't think that helps them either. There's been a big boost in the full game total. I think it went from like 212.5 to 216. But I don't know that I could trust Memphis. They scored 113 the other night, making 21 threes. I don't know that they could shoot like that again. So I don't trust them to score. But I do think the Bulls can get to 112 here and cash a ticket. So I played already Bulls team total over 111.5.
All right. Rob looking at it a little bit of a different way. Doesn't want to lay with the Bulls, but thinks they'll do a lot of the scoring. And I'm not mad at that play. We'll keep moving down the list. Got to move a little faster at these last few games. 527, 528. Utah and Phoenix opened up Phoenix -7. Now looking like -6. Total open 243.5, and it's down to 240, as low as 242. Looks like Utah made a trade because a lot of new players are game time decision here, and I don't remember the trade that they made. But yeah, I can't think of it right now. Abaji, I think it was, and somebody else. But for the Suns, have Booker game time decision, Bill game time decision, O'Neal and Roddy both very likely to play. So I guess all these guys got traded early enough so they could still go get out and try to help their teams. So I'm not really interested in the side for this game here, Rob. My thought process is neither team is really playing fast, but both offenses have been very efficient. The Jazz absolutely do not trust to play any defense. So pace-wise, it is a very high total. I'm really trying my best to get there. The market is disagreeing, is pushing it down. Can you help me get to the over between Utah and Phoenix?
You want to get to over or you want to get to under?
Over.
Yeah. It's hard, Miski, it's hard to argue you off the over there because of the Utah defense and especially the way Phoenix has scored since the big three have all been together. They had the day of rest. They got their win against Milwaukee. Now they can come back. I don't know that they'll play a lot of defense. There's times when you watch Phoenix where they kind of pace it. Those guys are veterans, right? Beal, Booker, Durant. They know when to really ratchet it up and when to just kick back and I don't want to say allow the other team to score, but not play as focused on defense. So I could probably only look that way. I think the other guy you were looking for there from Utah that got traded was Fontecchio. But they don't matter too much in the way of scoring here. I don't know. I didn't play the game because I didn't like the game. Utah, I'll say one thing to you about Utah, and this only goes toward their home offense. They have not been held under 118 points at home in 10 straight games. A lot of that does travel on the road where offense is concerned, and the defense gets a little worse. So 242.5 might not be that high. I don't know. I didn't get involved, though.
It sounds like we both need a little bit of pushing towards the over. The chat is liking the over a little bit here. But like I said, that pace, they're both bottom 10 in pace last 5 games. Suns have went under 9 of the last 12. It's scaring me. It's absolutely scaring me. So I'm gonna think about that one a little longer. Next game up, we'll go 529, 530. Denver heading into LA to take on the Lakers. Opened up Nuggets -3. They're 3.5 or 4-point favorite, depending where you shop. Total open 229.5 and is not moving. Injury report. KCP he's not on there anymore. For the Lakers, the usual suspects, LeBron and AD, both game time decision. They'll continue to be without Cam Reddish, Vanderbilt, and Vincent. The Lakers, my bad, let me get this here. But the Lakers tonight will be unveiling that Kobe statue. And this is also, I feel like a game that they cared about regardless. They lost to them in the season opener. And they lost to them. This is the same team that put them out the playoffs. I'm having a hard time remembering now. I think they got swept out the playoffs, matter of fact. So revenge angle. I know these guys don't like each other, and I know the Lakers don't like the Nuggets, especially Darvin Ham doesn't like Mike Malone. All Mike Malone did is talk about the Lakers before, after they won. And so I just think this is a big game for the Lakers. They've been playing good basketball lately. They've won 5 of their last 7. And they'll be the team who's the most motivated tonight. They'll be wearing those Black Mamba jerseys. And last time they were motivated wearing those Black Mamba jerseys in the playoffs, they went 4-0 and won a championship. So I think you'll get an inspired effort from them tonight. How do you feel about it, Mr. Ravino?
Hey, Denver is such a crazy team, Skee. I remember last year when we were talking about them. Remember they had that number 1 seed all but clinched and went on the road and just could care less. And there was a stretch there where Denver on the road was just as easy a fade as you can get to. To me, they flipped switches. And when I went through their numbers this morning, it looks like they turned on the defensive switch. We know they play slow, right? But somehow, even playing slow, they got to a lot of overs earlier in the year, and they got to a lot of high team point totals because they're so efficient with Jokic in the middle. But 8 of their last 9 games, they've scored 114 or less, and they've played under in 8 of 9, which I wanted to get to under here, but then I have to consider the way the Lakers are playing, and the Lakers are playing fast. So which side do I want to stand on? Do I think that Denver can continue? They probably do continue slow pace. Do they continue to play the defense that they've been playing? Because it looks like they've turned the defensive switch on. They're winning a lot of unders. And the Lakers have allowed 117 or more in 11 of their last 17. So you get a true contradiction. But listening to you just now, I still might get to under in this game. It's bumped up to 230.5 now, and I just feel like that's too high, regardless of how quickly the Lakers are playing. A motivated Lakers team with a Kobe Bryant statue being unveiled, I had heard that this morning and forgotten about that, just leads me to believe that they'll play focused on the defensive end. Like they'll play with energy and emotion tonight, which can sort of chop down some of those high numbers that they've been allowing. Denver, I already know, is a good defensive team. Denver, I already know, likes to slow it down. And the Anthony Davis, Nikola Jokic matchup is probably as good a matchup as Jokic can get in the NBA. There's about a handful of guys where you say, oh, that's a nice matchup. Otherwise, you think Jokic will dominate. So I may still get there, Skee. I think this is a lower scoring game. I don't think this one gets out of control. A lot of Laker games have been getting way up there points-wise. But to me, just seeing the current form of Denver and what they're trying to accomplish and knowing what the game means to LA tonight situationally might put me on under 230.5.
Well, Lakers have been going over on the road like crazy, not as much at home. So you have that going for this game. And yeah, I'm looking at it. Yeah, Nuggets have been going under lately. So I think I'll leave the total alone. It should be played. I mean, I do expect the Lakers to play good defense tonight. We'll see how it shakes out as far as that's concerned. Daniel says, let's not forget Kobe won't be suiting up for LA. He didn't suit up in 2020 either when they wore the Kobe jerseys. So call it what you want, man. Play how you want to play. Next game up, we'll go 531, 532. Detroit and Portland. Game opened up Blazers -5. They're now 6.5-point favorites. Total opened up I had to make sure I read that correctly. Total opened up 229.5, and it's 226.5 currently. Injury report, too many people on this Detroit list to name. I think I'm uninterested in this game just based on that. For the Blazers, a lot of people on the injury report too. I hate to, if I don't want to talk about it, I know you probably don't want to talk about it, but Detroit on a back-to-back, Portland on 3 days rest. I guess that makes me, Portland or pass, and I'm just fine passing in this game. How do you feel about it, Veno?
I wanted to try to get to Portland just because Detroit traded so many players out of there. That's just a convoluted mess for a game like tonight. You're in back-to-backs on the road. They scored 130. Shows you how bad Sacramento is. They gave up 133 last night. Jaden Ivey had a big night and even said towards the end of the game he had to fight through fatigue. If that's the case with one of your second-year players, I can only imagine the rest of the team, which is, like I say, been shortened up somewhat. But The Blazers do have a couple of injury concerns of their own. I just like the way Chauncey Billups is bringing this team along right now. I think the Scoot Henderson was the guy who had a big night the other night and then got hurt. He's a question mark here. I still think there's a way to get to Portland, Skee, and cover this game, whether it be first quarter, first half. Maybe you don't want to lay 6.5 because they're just an untrustable home favorite at that price. But Detroit is just as untrustable, I think, in this particular situation with the guys they're going to throw out there. So I might find a way to Portland early, either first quarter, first half. And if I do, that's where I'll be.
All right. That's the NBA slate for today. And it's, we did a pretty good job. It is about that time. I know you have to get out of here, Rob. We'll move over to the best bet segment. You guys who've been around, you know what to do. The people who are new, everybody will drop their best bets in the chat. 3 rules. Put best bet next to your best bet. Put the number of the actual line that you're getting, and no more than 2 best bets. To make it, so it's not just weighing everybody out if one person has an extremely terrible day. And let's remember, the chat killed it. They went 28-12 yesterday. So pay attention. Veno, with that said, is there anything you would like to promote? And is there maybe one play you like a little bit more than the rest?
Well, let's go ahead and promote Wagertalk.com. Again, those of you who have not yet signed up at Wagertalk.com, it's free, guys. It's free. Go over there and drop your email address. You get video content all day long, every day, all sports analyzed, games that you might not hear here with Skee. You could hear over there. You can catch me in Skee over there doing a lot of NBA work. I do some college basketball work as well, NFL. So once again, drop your email address, wagertalk.com, free access to all the video and written content. If you're interested in selection packages with Super Bowl coming this weekend, and we'll get into a little football tomorrow, you can always find mine at wagertalk.com. Skee, for the best bet for this show, I probably sounded the most enthused about the Cavaliers game. That's the game I like the best. And I'm going to leave the best bet as their team total over 115.5. Just not enough bodies for the Nets to play this many minutes and guard 10 Cavaliers that can score. I thought 115.5 was a real short number. The Nets have allowed over that in 3 of their last 4. Defensively, they're just not good. They'll get beat inside. They should get beat on the perimeter as well. So give me the Cavaliers as the best bet for this show. Team total over 115.5.
All right. Nice job there from Rob Veno going with the Cavs. And I'll shout out a few people from the chat. Boofer likes the Warriors plus 5.5. VC3 going with the Lakers money line. More love for the Warriors for Dante. Eduardo likes those Wolves. James Carr says Magic gonna cover that big spread. And a lot more best bets coming in here. Tim H. And a lot of these people, I'm reading these names, they are coming off of good days yesterday. Siete Couture back to his usual money line parlay. He's picking Dallas and the Bulls. So nice work from everybody. And we even have, what is this here? Best bet, Colorado, Carolina, over 6.5 goals. Got some hockey in there. So appreciate all of you guys sharing. And my best bet for the show, man, I'm not even gonna play, man. Y'all know what the best bet is for today. I don't care. I don't care who the public is on. I don't care about none of that. These dudes are coming to play today, man. If you want to get paid, bet the Lakers, and I'll see you at the window. All right. I'll say it one more time. I love y'all in the chat, man. Y'all make this show extremely enjoyable. I love coming to do it every single day with you guys, and y'all are sharp too. So we continue to make money together. Hopefully, we'll continue to do that every day, and I just love it. So I just want to shout you guys out and tell you how much I appreciate you guys in the chat. If you could hit the like button before you get out of here, as it helps out the show. I will be on again later with Wham at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time with Wham, Dutch, and Babano. Until then, best of luck if you tell. Good luck on all of your action, and I'll catch you guys then.